Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Well, as you know, we're in that time of the year. State legislatures are back in session, working overtime, working feverishly to disarm as many of their citizens as humanly possible. And with the sad reality that Snope v. Brown, if ever accepted by the United States Supreme Court, is not going to be heard until next term now, well, that gives these states a lot more opportunities to inflict their misery upon their citizens before the Supreme Court gets in and stops it. Now, we're going to talk today about a proposed piece of legislation out of the state of Colorado. It is yet another run at an assault weapon ban in Colorado. And listen, those that are pushing this bill, they might think that they're being a little coy. They might think that they're being a little cute, but they're not, okay? And we're going to explain to you how they plagiarized this bill and where they're coming from. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about why Colorado's assault weapon ban bill is just as bad as any other and possibly worse.
Okay, hey, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, proud to announce that this video is being brought to you by the National Association for Gun Rights. This is the part where I tell you about all the cool things they're doing, but you know what? Let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. We got their president, Dudley Brown, right here.
Well, thank you, William. We're working in Congress, we're working in state legislatures, and frankly, we're working in the courts. That's how we got connected with William and Washington Gun Law, and we're excited to be a part of what they're doing.
Listen, there is no organization fighting harder for your inalienable rights. Get in the fight today with NAGR. Join them at gunrights.org.
Okay, Colorado, it's been almost a whole year since we got to talk to you, and that was because last year your legislature was trying to do this to you again. You fought like holy hell, you prevented it, and so now they're going to take a different run at it. They think they're doing something entirely different. They're going to try to pull the wool over the eyes of Colorado residents, but we're going to expose exactly what they're doing. We are talking today about Senate Bill 25-003. This is the new Colorado assault weapon ban bill. It really does multiple things. I want to focus on three of them today, okay? Here's the three things that we're going to talk about what this bill does today. Number one, it defines and then bans rapid fire devices. We're not going to launch too deep into that, but this is going to go with your force reset triggers, bump stocks, and things like that. The second thing it's going to do is it's going to define certain firearms as specified semi-automatic firearm. And then, of course, it bans them, okay? And then finally, we're going to talk about how they're trying to ban them because they think they're getting cute. They think they're going to be coy. They think they're going to be able to pull the wool over the voters' eyes. But we're going to expose exactly what they're doing here because it really is just a different way of doing the same thing that all of these other states have already done to its citizens. So for the sponsors of this bill who think you all were so creative when you drafted this bill, let me say that you were about as creative as former Harvard president Claudine Gay. Why is she no longer the Harvard president? Yeah, because she got caught plagiarizing. Well, guess what? You guys did too. Because let me remind you that just last year, Senator Martin Heinrich, never a friend to the Second Amendment, introduced Senate Bill 3369, better known as the GOSAFE Act. The GOSAFE Act is an acronym for Gas-Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act. And don't you just love the creativity they use in naming these bills so they can come up with cool little acronyms? However, if you really wanted to have a proper acronym for what this bill really is, it would be the constitutionally reprehensible abandonment of principles, or what we like to call CRAP. Okay, now for those of you who are very familiar with the AR platform, and for those of you who aren't, you're just going to have to take my word for this, but really the internal workings of most semi-automatic rifles are going to rely on one of two types of gas blowback operated systems. It's either going to be a direct impingement or a gas piston system, okay? What this bill does is it doesn't ban what the firearm looks like on the outside, like California, like Washington, like Maryland, like Illinois, and like a lot of other states have done it. No, instead what it does is it bans them based upon how the internal workings of the firearm works. Now, to give you an idea of how this bill works, let's say instead of trying to ban firearms, it was just trying to ban really expensive supercars like this one. Well, a traditional ban, as we've seen in other states, would ban this car based upon all of these external features. The way Colorado's ban would work and the way the GOSAFE Act worked is we're not going to focus on the external features, we're going to focus on all the internal workings of it. So we would ban it based upon these types of things here. It doesn't really matter how you cut it because at the end of the day, guess what gets banned? Yeah, that's right, this sports car. So again, for all the sponsors of the bill and people who are going to be supporting this bill, if you think you've come up with something really super creative, if you think you've come up with something that is just so ingenious that voters are just going to fall in line and support this, you're kidding yourself. Now, I need to address a very specific concern that many folks in Colorado have about this bill, which is that many believe that this bill actually bans all semi-automatic handguns, so the types of firearms that we routinely carry on a daily basis in defense of ourselves and others. Does it actually do that? Well, when you take a look at all the different gas operating systems that would then be banned by this bill, you will see kind of a catch-all, number 5, which states the following: a blowback operated system that directly utilizes the expanding gases of the ignited propellant powder acting on the cartridge case to drive the breech block or breech bolt rearward. And many believe that that is exactly how a semi-automatic firearm, which accepts a detachable magazine, operates. And while that may be the case, I want you to know that if you just go one more page in the bill, you will see a list of exclusions. And one of the exclusions, which is very specifically listed in that bill, states a single or double action semi-automatic handgun that uses recoil to cycle the action of the handgun. So it is Washington gun law's opinion that this bill, in the form it is right now, does not ban all semi-automatic handguns. Does it ban semi-automatic AR-style pistols? It most definitely does. But your Glocks, your Smith & Wessons, and other carry firearms that you would carry in a normal day in protection of yourself and others does not appear to be banned by this bill as it's written right now. Listen, Colorado, I was convinced last year that this was going to get shoved down your throat, similar to what happened to us out here in the People's Republic of Washington a couple of years ago. I even did this video right here, similar to what I'd done in Washington a couple years ago, telling all of you better stock up now. Turns out it was a little bit of a false alarm. I'm sure the FFLs out in Colorado are grateful for that video nonetheless. But what we did learn last year is that even though the numbers were horribly stacked against you, and the prognosis of this bill becoming law was unfortunately very, very good, somehow or another, you guys found a way to kill this bill, and you're going to have to find another way to kill this bill as well. So many of you might be asking, what can I do to help get into the fight and try to prevent this bill from becoming law? Well, it's real simple out there, Colorado. All of you need to join the Rocky Mountain Gun Owners right now. We're going to put a link for them down below so that you can show them some love, that you can get some skin in the game. Let's get in the fight, Colorado. This is a huge, huge undertaking. It's going to be a monumental effort to kill this bill, and RMGO and all the other opponents of this bill, they're going to need all of your help. Okay, the bill once again is SB 25-003. It's right here. If for some reason you can't find it and you want to know what it says, hey, you can just pull up last year's GOSAFE Act and take a look at it, because it is literally cut and pasted into the Colorado bill. If you got any questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you click on that link right there and you tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is right down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.